Average cost. How do we find the maximum or minimum point given the function? How do we find the critical point? To find the critical point, we take the first derivative and set it equal to 0. Now, average cost is the cost per unit of producing a certain quantity. So you have the cost divided by the quantity. The average cost of producing Q units is equal to the cost function divided by the number is equal to the slope of the line from the origin to the point of the cost curve. And as you can see here, here's the cost curve, and here is the slope of the tangent line. This is the average cost of Q items. The average cost is not equal to the marginal cost. So there will be three cases, and I have a picture here to help you. When the marginal cost is less than the average cost, the organization increases production, then there will be a decreased average cost. When the marginal cost is greater than the average cost, production increases, then the cost will increase. Only at one point, when the marginal cost is equal to the average cost, is at the point of the average cost. The slopes are steeper when quantities are small. As you can see, the slopes begin to slow down, and this one right here, the point of tangency, the tangent line that touches this one point of tangency has the minimum slope. As Q increases, then the average cost decreases, then increases again in this case. It increases, then it decreases, and then it increases again. The minimum cost occurs at the point where the line is tangent to the cost line. Okay, so here we have problem number 4 on page 206, and it is the cost of producing Q items is C of Q is equal to 2,500 plus 12Q dollars. What is the marginal cost of producing the 100th item or the 1,000th item? C prime of Q is $12. C prime of 100 is also $12. C prime of 1,000 is also $12. What is the average cost of producing the 100th item or the 1,000th item? So 100, you plug into the cost function, you get a value, you divide that by the 100, that's $37, and then the average cost of 1,000 items is $14.50. The average cost per item to produce Q items is given by the average cost equation. For Q is greater than 0, let's find the total cost. So what is the total cost? So here you have the average cost. Average cost is equal to total cost divided by Q. So if I take this Q and I multiply it on both sides, I have Q times the average cost. So the cost equation is going to be Q times our average cost equation. And you multiply that out and you get a nice polynomial. What is the minimum marginal cost? Minimum marginal cost, woohoo! Derivative. So we want the marginal cost. What is the practical interpretation of this result? So then we have the cost function. We find the marginal cost function. Find the critical point by setting it equal to 0. So Q is equal to 20. So the interpretation of that is for the marginal cost to be at a minimum means the cost increases by $1 for each additional item after 20 have been produced. Now, what is the production level where the average cost is a minimum? What is the lowest average cost? So we take the average cost function and find the derivative, and we find Q is 30. So when I plug in the average cost when Q is 30, I get $4. The cost, when there are 30 items, you plug that in and you get $120. So the average cost is the 120 divided by 30, which is $4, which is exactly what we have here.